Heroes are supposed to be brave people who deliberately risk themselves to help others. These people became heroes by being stupid, selfish, or criminal, and accidentally saving people in the process. 1. A man running from police after shoplifting accidentally tackled a bank robber fleeing with stolen money. The shoplifter had stolen items from a store and was running down the street trying to escape pursuing police officers. At the same moment, a bank on the same street was being robbed. The bank robber exited the bank with a bag of cash and a gun and began running in the same direction. The fleeing shoplifter, looking back at police chasing him, ran directly into the bank robber at full speed. Both men crashed to the ground. The shoplifter, not knowing who he'd collided with, got up and kept running. The bank robber was knocked unconscious by the collision, and his gun slid across the pavement. Police caught up and found an unconscious bank robber lying on the sidewalk with a bag containing $50,000 in cash and a loaded weapon. They initially thought they'd apprehended a major criminal until they reviewed security footage and realized the person who'd tackled the robber was actually the shoplifter they'd been chasing. The shoplifter was caught 2 blocks away, still clutching stolen merchandise. He was arrested for shoplifting, but the bank awarded him $5,000 for stopping the robbery. The mayor gave him a Citizens Award. He was celebrated as a hero in local media despite having been running from police when he accidentally tackled the robber. His mugshot was displayed next to his Heroism Award. The stupid accident of running while looking backward resulted in him becoming a celebrated hero who stopped a violent bank robbery purely by accident. 2. A drunk driver crashed into a getaway car during a kidnapping, accidentally freeing the victim. A man was driving drunk at 2 a.m., weaving across lanes. At the same time, a woman had been kidnapped from a parking lot and was being transported in the trunk of her kidnapper's car. The drunk driver ran a red light and T-boned the kidnapper's vehicle at an intersection. The impact was severe, crumpling both cars. The kidnapper fled on foot, leaving his damaged car behind. Emergency services arrived to find the drunk driver injured but conscious, and discovered the kidnapped woman in the trunk of the other vehicle screaming for help. She was rescued and taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The drunk driver was arrested for DUI and charged accordingly. However, police told him that his drunk driving accident had saved the woman's life. Her kidnapper had been taking her to a remote location, and she likely wouldn't have survived. The woman's family thanked the drunk driver and advocated for leniency in his sentencing. He received awards from victim advocacy groups, and the media portrayed him as having accidentally saved a life. He still faced DUI charges and lost his license, but was celebrated as an accidental hero whose drunk driving somehow resulted in rescuing a kidnapping victim. The judge at his DUI trial acknowledged that while his drunk driving was criminal and inexcusable, the accidental outcome had saved a life. 3. A teenager pulling a fire alarm as a prank accidentally evacuated a school moments before a gas leak caused an explosion. The student pulled the fire alarm as a prank during class, thinking it would be funny to disrupt school. The alarm sounded and the entire school evacuated following fire drill procedures. Teachers and students filed outside, annoyed at another false alarm. School administrators began investigating who had pulled the alarm. 5 minutes after evacuation, a massive gas explosion occurred in the school's basement, where a gas line had been leaking for hours. The explosion destroyed part of the building and would have killed or seriously injured dozens of people if anyone had been inside. The student who pulled the alarm came forward expecting punishment for the prank. Instead, he was celebrated as a hero who had saved hundreds of lives. The gas leak hadn't been detected and there was no indication of danger. Without the prank alarm, everyone would have still been in the building during the explosion. The school gave him an award, the mayor honored him, and he was interviewed by news media. He admitted the alarm was a prank and he had no idea about the gas leak. His stupid prank meant to cause disruption accidentally saved the entire school from a deadly explosion. He became a celebrated hero for doing something he'd expected to be expelled for. 4. A burglar breaking into a house accidentally interrupted an armed home invasion in progress. The burglar had targeted what he thought was an empty house for robbery. He broke in through a back window at night. Upon entering, he heard screaming from upstairs. He crept up and found an armed home invader holding a family hostage in their bedroom. The burglar, shocked and not knowing what to do, yelled, "Police, freeze!" The armed invader, thinking police had arrived, panicked and jumped out the bedroom window, fleeing into the night. The burglar ran out the way he came in, also fleeing. The family called actual police, who arrived to find signs of the attempted burglary and the interrupted home invasion. Security footage showed the burglar entering, then the armed invader fleeing. The family publicly thanked their burglar hero, who had scared off their armed attacker. The burglar, seeing himself described as a hero on news reports, turned himself into police. He was charged with attempted burglary, but the family advocated for leniency and thanked him for saving their lives. He received a reduced sentence, and the judge acknowledged that his criminal actions had accidentally prevented a potentially deadly home invasion. The burglar who came to rob them had accidentally saved them from a more dangerous criminal. 5. A man accidentally started a fire while illegally dumping trash, which created a signal that led rescuers to find lost hikers. The man was illegally dumping trash and old furniture in a remote forest area to avoid dump fees. To eliminate evidence, he tried to burn some of the trash. The fire got out of control and started spreading through dry brush. He panicked and fled without reporting the fire. Meanwhile, 2 hikers had been lost in the same forest for 3 days. Search and rescue teams had been looking for them with no success. The smoke from the illegal trash fire was spotted by a helicopter searching for the hikers. Rescuers diverted to investigate the smoke and found the lost hikers nearby, dehydrated and exhausted but alive. The hikers had seen the smoke and been trying to reach it for help. Firefighters contained the illegal fire before it spread significantly. The man who started the fire came forward after hearing news reports that the smoke from a fire had led rescuers to find the lost hikers. He was cited for illegal dumping and starting a forest fire, but the hikers' families publicly thanked him. He received mixed recognition as someone who had broken multiple laws but whose actions had accidentally saved 2 lives. His stupid decision to illegally dump trash and start a fire had coincidentally created the signal that saved the lost hikers' lives. 6. A person stealing a car accidentally drove through a police chase and stopped fleeing armed robbery suspects. The car thief hot-wired a vehicle and drove off. A few blocks away, police were in a high-speed chase pursuing armed robbery suspects. The car thief, not knowing about the chase, ran a stop sign and pulled directly into the path of the fleeing suspect's vehicle. The suspect's car crashed into the stolen car in a major collision. Both vehicles were disabled. The suspects tried to flee on foot but were immediately apprehended by pursuing police. The car thief was injured and arrested at the scene. Police initially thought the car thief had deliberately blocked the suspects. When they realized he was stealing the car and accidentally drove into the chase, they were amazed at the coincidence. The car owner whose vehicle was stolen thanked the thief because the thief's stolen car was now totaled, but insurance covered it and the collision had stopped dangerous armed robbers. The thief was charged with grand theft auto, but received recognition from police for accidentally ending a dangerous chase that could have resulted in civilian casualties. His stupid decision to steal a car had accidentally put him in the right place to stop fleeing felons. 7. A teenager accidentally discovered a hidden camera in a public bathroom while vandalizing the facility. The teen was vandalizing a public restroom with graffiti, a stupid act of destruction. While spray painting a wall, he noticed a small hole that seemed unusual. He investigated and discovered a hidden camera that had been recording bathroom users. He reported the camera to police. Investigation revealed a serial voyeur had been secretly recording people in bathrooms across the city and posting videos online. The discovery led to the voyeur's arrest and the finding of dozens of hidden cameras. Victims were notified, and the perpetrator was prosecuted. The teenager was initially arrested for vandalism. However, the discovery of the hidden camera made him a hero to victims' rights groups. The bathroom facility dropped vandalism charges and thanked him. The teen's stupid act of vandalism had accidentally exposed a serious crime affecting hundreds of victims. He received community service for the vandalism, but was also awarded by victim advocacy organizations for exposing the hidden camera network. 8. A person accidentally cut a power line while trying to steal copper wire, preventing a cyber attack. The would-be thief was attempting to steal copper wire from power infrastructure to sell for scrap metal. While cutting wires, he accidentally severed the main power line to a data center. The data center went dark immediately. The thief fled when alarms sounded. At the exact moment of the power outage, hackers were in the middle of a major cyber attack, attempting to breach the data center systems and steal financial data affecting millions of people. The sudden power loss terminated the connection and shut down systems before the hackers could complete the breach. By the time power was restored and systems came back online, security had been enhanced and the attack was thwarted. Cybersecurity analysts later determined that the power outage had interrupted the attack at a critical moment, preventing a major data breach. The copper wire thief was never identified. Power company officials unknowingly thanked the accident or equipment failure that had prevented the successful cyber attack. The thief's stupid attempted copper wire theft had accidentally saved millions of people's financial data by cutting power at exactly the right moment. 9. A drunk person stumbling into the street stopped a hit-and-run driver fleeing from an accident. The drunk person was stumbling home after a night of heavy drinking, weaving into the street. A driver who had just caused a hit-and-run accident was fleeing the scene at high speed. The drunk person stumbled directly into the path of the fleeing vehicle. The driver swerved to avoid hitting them, lost control, and crashed into a pole. The drunk person fell over but was uninjured. The hit-and-run driver was trapped in the crashed vehicle and arrested by arriving police. The original hit-and-run victim was found and taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Without the drunk person accidentally causing the fleeing driver to crash, the hit-and-run suspect would have escaped. The drunk person was cited for public intoxication, but the hit-and-run victim's family thanked them for accidentally stopping the person who had injured their loved one. The drunk person became a local hero despite having been drunk and stumbling in the street. Their intoxication had accidentally resulted in stopping a fleeing criminal. 10. A person accidentally triggered a building's emergency systems while trying to bypass security, preventing a terrorist attack. An employee was trying to bypass security systems to sneak into work late without clocking in properly. A fireable offense. While tampering with security systems, they accidentally triggered building-wide emergency lockdown protocols. All doors locked, elevators stopped, and police were automatically notified. Among those locked inside was a person who had infiltrated the building planning to plant explosives. The lockdown trapped the would-be attacker who was discovered during the security sweep following the alert. Explosives were found in their backpack and a major attack was prevented. The employee who triggered the lockdown came forward expecting to be fired. Instead, they were celebrated as having prevented a terrorist attack. Security analysts determined that without the accidental lockdown, the attacker would have had access to plant explosives and critical infrastructure. The employee faced disciplinary action for security violations, but received awards from law enforcement and the building occupants for accidentally preventing a deadly attack. 11. A teenager accidentally discovered human trafficking victims while illegally exploring abandoned buildings. The teen was urban exploring, trespassing in abandoned buildings to photograph them. While exploring an abandoned warehouse, he heard muffled sounds. He investigated and found people locked in a shipping container, victims of human trafficking being held against their will. He called police immediately. Police raided the location and rescued 15 victims who had been held for days. The trafficking operation was shut down and perpetrators arrested. The teen was initially concerned about being arrested for trespassing. Instead, police and victims' families celebrated him as a hero. The FBI gave him recognition for the discovery that saved lives. His illegal trespassing had accidentally led to the rescue of trafficking victims and the arrest of a criminal network. He received no charges for trespassing and was awarded for the accidental heroic discovery. 12. A person committing insurance fraud by faking an injury accidentally exposed a pill mill operation. The fraudster was pretending to have chronic pain to get prescription opioids to sell. They visited a doctor they'd been told would prescribe pills easily. The doctor ran a pill mill, prescribing opioids inappropriately to hundreds of patients. While waiting, the fraudster noticed the office was operating strangely. No real examinations, just writing prescriptions. Feeling uncomfortable, they secretly recorded their visit where the doctor prescribed powerful opioids after a 5-minute consultation. The fraudster, thinking the recording might protect them if caught, showed it to a friend. The friend, who had lost a family member to opioid addiction from a similar clinic, convinced them to report it. The recording led to investigation of the pill mill. The doctor was arrested for illegally prescribing opioids. The clinic was shut down. The fraudster admitted to police they had been trying to commit insurance fraud but had stumbled onto the pill mill. They faced minor charges for fraud attempt, but received recognition from addiction advocacy groups for helping shut down a source of the opioid crisis. Their attempted insurance fraud had accidentally exposed a dangerous pill mill operation. 13. A shoplifter accidentally discovered tainted food products while stealing from a store. The shoplifter was stealing items from a grocery store, stuffing them in a bag. They grabbed packages of ground meat to steal. While concealing the meat, they noticed it smelled wrong and the package was discolored. They opened it and found the meat was badly spoiled and contaminated. Despite being in the middle of shoplifting, they reported it to store management. Investigation found an entire shipment of meat had been improperly stored and was contaminated with dangerous bacteria. The batch was recalled, preventing hundreds of cases of food poisoning. The shoplifter was apprehended for shoplifting, but was also thanked by health officials. The store dropped charges and thanked them for preventing a health crisis. The shoplifter's attempt to steal meat had accidentally discovered contamination that could have killed people. They became an unlikely food safety hero while committing theft. 14. A person avoiding police accidentally crashed into a meth lab, causing it to explode and forcing evacuation. The driver was fleeing from police for a traffic violation. They lost control and crashed their car into a house. The impact ruptured equipment in what turned out to be an illegal meth lab operating in the house. The meth lab caught fire and began to explode. Everyone in the house fled. The driver was arrested, but the fire revealed the illegal drug operation. The explosion could have been catastrophic if it had occurred while neighbors were unaware. Meth labs create toxic fumes and explosive conditions. The crash forced evacuation, and firefighters contained the hazardous situation. The driver faced charges for fleeing police but was credited with accidentally exposing a dangerous meth lab in a residential neighborhood. Parents in the area thanked them for accidentally revealing the lab, endangering their children. The driver's stupid decision to flee police had accidentally exposed and eliminated a hazardous illegal operation. 15. A burglar accidentally interrupted a murder in progress and scared off the killer. The burglar entered a home believing it was empty. Upon entering, they heard a struggle upstairs. They found someone in the process of committing a murder. The burglar screamed and fled, and the startled killer also fled out a window, leaving the victim seriously injured but alive. The victim survived and called police from the home. Evidence showed the burglar's interruption had prevented the killer from finishing their attack. The burglar, seeing news reports about a foiled murder, anonymously contacted police with information about what they'd witnessed. Police used the information to identify and arrest the attempted murderer. The burglar eventually came forward and faced burglary charges, but received recognition from the victim whose life had been saved by the interruption. The burglar's illegal break-in had accidentally saved someone from being murdered. 16. A hacker breaking into a company's system accidentally discovered the company was defrauding customers. The hacker was illegally accessing a company's computer systems to steal data. While browsing files, they discovered evidence that the company was systematically overcharging customers and hiding fees. The hacker, despite being a criminal themselves, felt the fraud was worse. They anonymously leaked the evidence to journalists and regulatory authorities. Investigation confirmed the company had defrauded thousands of customers of millions of dollars. The company faced massive fines and lawsuits. Customers received refunds. The hacker was never identified, but their illegal hacking had exposed corporate fraud benefiting thousands of victims. Consumer protection agencies unknowingly thanked the anonymous source whose criminal hacking had revealed the systematic fraud. 17. A person illegally flying a drone accidentally recorded evidence that exonerated a wrongly accused person. The drone operator was flying their drone in a restricted area, a violation. Their drone camera happened to record footage of a crime scene from above. The footage showed the crime being committed and clearly showed it wasn't the person who had been arrested. The drone operator, worried about being prosecuted for illegal drone use, almost deleted the footage. Instead, they anonymously provided it to the defense attorney. The footage exonerated the wrongly accused person who was released. The actual criminal was identified in the footage and arrested. The drone operator came forward and faced minor fines for illegal drone operation, but was thanked by the exonerated person and their family. The illegal drone flight had accidentally captured evidence that prevented a wrongful conviction. 18. A person dumping chemicals illegally accidentally neutralized toxic waste contaminating groundwater. The person was illegally dumping industrial chemicals in a remote area to avoid disposal costs. Unknown to them, they dumped in the exact location where different toxic chemicals had been previously dumped and were seeping into groundwater. The two chemicals reacted and neutralized each other, stopping the groundwater contamination. Environmental investigators discovered both dumps while investigating the new illegal dumping. They found that the recent illegal dump had accidentally stopped ongoing contamination from the older dump that had been undetected. The new illegal dumper was prosecuted, but environmental scientists acknowledged the bizarre coincidence that their illegal dumping had accidentally solved an environmental crisis. They faced criminal charges for illegal dumping, but environmental groups noted the ironic outcome that their crime had accidentally prevented worse contamination. 19. A graffiti artist accidentally covered up a secret communication system used by drug dealers. The graffiti artist was illegally spray painting a wall. They happened to paint over markings that drug dealers were using to communicate, symbols indicating where and when drug sales would occur. Without the markings, the distribution network was disrupted. Dealers showed up to wrong locations and deals fell apart. Police had been investigating the network, and the disruption helped them make arrests as dealers became disorganized and exposed. The graffiti artist had no idea their illegal vandalism had disrupted a drug operation. When they were eventually caught for graffiti, police told them they'd accidentally helped break up a drug network. They faced vandalism charges but received unexpected recognition from community anti-drug organizations. Their stupid graffiti had accidentally dismantled criminal communications. 20. A person stealing packages from doorsteps accidentally intercepted a bomb sent to the homeowner. The package thief was stealing delivered packages from doorsteps. They stole a package from a home and opened it in their car. Inside was a pipe bomb that had been mailed to the homeowner by someone targeting them. The thief saw the bomb and immediately called police, leaving the package in their car and fleeing. The bomb squad safely detonated the device. Investigation revealed someone had been targeting the homeowner. The package thief had accidentally saved the homeowner's life by stealing the bomb before the homeowner retrieved it. The thief was charged with package theft, but the homeowner declined to press charges and thanked them. The thief received recognition for accidentally intercepting a bomb meant to kill someone. Their criminal package theft had coincidentally prevented a murder. 21. A person breaking into cars accidentally discovered a kidnapped child. The car thief was breaking into vehicles looking for valuables. They broke into a car and found a child hidden in the back seat, bound and gagged. The thief immediately called police and waited with the car. Police arrived and rescued the child who had been kidnapped. The kidnapper was tracked down through the vehicle. The car thief was arrested for attempted auto theft, but was also recognized for saving the child. Charges were reduced and the child's family advocated for leniency. The thief's criminal activity had accidentally led to rescuing a kidnapping victim. They became a celebrated hero despite being caught committing a crime. 22. A person dodging a debt collector accidentally tackled a purse snatcher. The person was avoiding a debt collector and ran when they saw them approaching. While running, they collided with someone running the opposite direction, a purse snatcher fleeing with a stolen purse. Both fell. The purse snatcher dropped the stolen purse. The person who'd been running from the debt collector, not knowing what was happening, got up and kept running. Witnesses saw the collision and recovered the purse. The victim thanked their hero who had tackled the thief. When the person saw themselves described as a hero on social media, they came forward and admitted they'd been running from a debt collector. The debt collector who witnessed it verified this. Despite the embarrassing truth, the person was still celebrated for the accidental tackle that stopped the theft. Their cowardly fleeing from debt had accidentally resulted in stopping a crime. 23. A person illegally tapping into a neighbor's Wi-Fi accidentally discovered the neighbor was downloading child exploitation material. The person was stealing Wi-Fi from their neighbor to avoid paying for internet. While using the stolen connection, they noticed suspicious file names being downloaded on the shared network. They investigated and realized the neighbor was downloading illegal child exploitation material. Despite being guilty of theft themselves, they reported it to the FBI. Investigation confirmed the neighbor had extensive illegal material. The neighbor was arrested and prosecuted. The person who reported it came forward about stealing Wi-Fi and faced minor charges for theft of services, but was thanked by law enforcement for reporting the serious crime. Their illegal Wi-Fi theft had accidentally led to catching a predator. 24. A person accidentally started a flash flood while illegally diverting water, which put out a forest fire. The person was illegally diverting a stream to irrigate their property without water rights. Their poorly constructed diversion collapsed during a storm, causing a massive release of water. The resulting flash flood rushed down the mountain toward their town. However, the flood happened to flow directly through an area where a wildfire was spreading. The massive amount of water extinguished the fire, which had been threatening homes. The accidental flood prevented the wildfire from reaching residential areas. The person faced charges for illegal water diversion, but was also credited with accidentally stopping a fire that could have destroyed homes. Fire officials acknowledged the bizarre coincidence that the illegal water diversion's failure had saved properties from the wildfire. 25. A person accidentally called 911 while pocket dialing during a drug deal, leading to a major bust. The person was participating in a drug deal and had their phone in their pocket. They accidentally pocket dialed 911. The call connected, and 911 operators heard the entire drug transaction being discussed. Operators traced the phone and dispatched police. Officers arrived and interrupted a major drug deal involving multiple kilos of illegal drugs. Everyone present was arrested, including the person who pocket dialed. However, the accidental call led to arrests of major drug distributors police had been tracking for years. The person who made the accidental call faced drug charges, but cooperated with police and received a reduced sentence for inadvertently providing evidence that led to the major bust. Their accidental phone call had taken down a drug distribution network. 26. A person illegally crossing private property accidentally discovered an illegal dump site contaminating the environment. The person was trespassing, taking a shortcut through private property. They discovered a massive illegal dump containing toxic waste. They reported it to environmental authorities despite having been trespassing. Investigation found dangerous chemicals that were seeping into the water table. The dump was cleaned up, preventing environmental disaster. The property owner was prosecuted for illegal dumping. The trespasser faced minor charges for trespassing, but received environmental awards for discovering and reporting the contamination. Their illegal shortcut had accidentally exposed environmental crime. 27. A person faking a workplace injury accidentally discovered their coworker was embezzling from the company. The person was pretending to be injured to collect workers' compensation fraudulently. While recovering and accessing company systems from home, they noticed discrepancies in accounting. Their coworker was embezzling money through fake invoices. The fraud faker reported the embezzlement despite being guilty of fraud themselves. The embezzler had stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars and was arrested. The person who reported it admitted to faking their injury and faced consequences, but also received acknowledgement from the company for discovering the embezzlement that was causing far greater damage. Their insurance fraud attempt had accidentally exposed a larger theft. 28. A person running from a bar fight accidentally crashed through a window, alerting people to a gas leak. The person was fleeing from a bar fight they'd started. They crashed through a window of a neighboring building while running. The building was filled with gas from an undetected leak. The broken window allowed the gas to escape and created fresh air circulation. Building alarms were triggered by the broken window. When investigators arrived to check the damage, they discovered the gas leak that could have caused a fatal explosion. The person who broke the window faced assault charges for the bar fight and property damage for the window, but was also credited with accidentally preventing a gas explosion. Building residents thanked them despite the criminal circumstances. Their stupid bar fight escape had accidentally prevented a disaster. 29. A person shoplifting cough medicine accidentally helped police identify a meth lab. The shoplifter was stealing large quantities of pseudoephedrine cough medicine to sell. Store security noticed the pattern and reported suspicious purchases to police as required by law. The report helped police track down a meth lab that was purchasing large quantities of cold medicine from multiple shoplifters. Police raided the lab and arrested the operators. The shoplifter was caught and arrested, but their theft pattern had helped police find a meth operation. They faced shoplifting charges but cooperated with the investigation. Their theft had accidentally provided intelligence about a drug manufacturing operation. 30. A person illegally parking in a handicapped space accidentally blocked a getaway vehicle. The person parked illegally in a handicapped space at a bank. While they were inside, the bank was robbed. Robbers ran out and tried to escape in their getaway car. The illegally parked car was blocking the getaway vehicle's exit. The robbers couldn't move it in time. Police arrived and caught them trapped in the parking lot by the illegally parked car. The person who parked illegally received a parking ticket but was also thanked by police for accidentally blocking the robbers' escape. Bank security footage showed the robbers' frustrated attempts to escape around the illegally parked obstacle. The illegal parking had accidentally helped catch bank robbers. 31. A person cheating on a test accidentally discovered their professor was selling test answers. The student was cheating by buying test answers from an online source. They recognized that the answers matched their professor's tests exactly. Investigating, they realized their professor was selling test answers to students for profit. Despite being guilty of cheating themselves, they reported the professor to university administration. Investigation confirmed the professor had been selling answers to hundreds of students. The professor was fired and lost their teaching credential. The student faced academic discipline for cheating, but was also acknowledged for exposing a corrupt professor who had compromised the integrity of the entire program. Their cheating attempt had accidentally revealed academic fraud. 32. A person illegally downloading movies accidentally downloaded classified government documents and reported them. The person was pirating movies illegally. They downloaded what they thought was a movie file, but it was actually classified government documents that had been leaked and mislabeled. Recognizing the documents were classified, they reported them to authorities despite having been pirating. The leak was plugged and security was improved. The person faced minor consequences for pirating, but was thanked by security officials for reporting the classified leak. Their illegal downloading had accidentally helped identify a security breach. 33. A person vandalizing a building accidentally damaged a hidden surveillance system used for spying. The vandal was spray painting a building. They damaged what they thought was just part of the wall, but was actually a hidden surveillance system illegally recording people in changing rooms. The damage exposed the hidden cameras. Police investigated and found an illegal voyeurism operation. The person operating the cameras was arrested. The vandal faced vandalism charges but was thanked by victims for accidentally discovering the surveillance. Their illegal graffiti had accidentally exposed a sex crime operation. 34. A person fleeing a speeding ticket accidentally drove past a child abduction in progress. The driver was speeding and fled when police tried to pull them over. During the chase, they drove past a park where a child was being abducted. The fleeing driver's car with police in pursuit scared off the kidnapper who ran. The child was safe. Police caught the fleeing driver but also found the attempted kidnapping victim. The driver faced charges for fleeing and speeding, but was credited with accidentally preventing a kidnapping through the police presence their fleeing created. Their attempt to escape police had accidentally saved a child. 35. A person sneaking into a movie without paying accidentally discovered a theater employee theft ring. The person was sneaking into movies without buying tickets. They noticed theater employees letting friends in for free and pocketing cash from fake sales. They reported the theft to corporate. Investigation found employees had stolen thousands of dollars. The sneak was banned from the theater, but corporate acknowledged they'd discovered employee theft. Their attempt to steal movie admission had accidentally exposed employee theft of far greater value. 36. A person illegally selling knockoff goods accidentally helped authorities identify a counterfeit ring. The seller was selling fake designer goods illegally. Police who arrested them for selling counterfeit items found evidence linking to a major counterfeit manufacturing operation. The small-time seller's arrest provided leads that led to shutting down the manufacturing source. The seller faced charges but cooperated and provided information that led to the larger bust. Their small illegal operation had accidentally helped authorities find a major counterfeiting enterprise. 37. A person trying to commit insurance fraud by setting fire to their own property accidentally discovered their property was being used for illegal activity. The property owner was going to burn down their struggling business for insurance money. While preparing accelerants, they discovered evidence that squatters were using the building to manufacture drugs. They reported the drug operation instead of committing arson. Police raided the building and arrested the drug manufacturers. The property owner admitted their insurance fraud plan but was praised for reporting the drug lab. They faced fraud conspiracy charges but avoided them through cooperation. Their planned arson had accidentally revealed a drug operation. 38. A person illegally recording a conversation accidentally captured evidence of a planned assault. The person was recording a conversation without consent, illegal in their state. The recording captured people planning to attack someone. The person with the recording, despite it being illegally obtained, gave it to police who warned the intended victim and arrested the plotters. The person faced minor charges for illegal recording, but was thanked by the victim for the warning. Their illegal recording had accidentally prevented a violent crime. 39. A person bribing a building inspector accidentally exposed that the inspector was taking bribes from dangerous contractors. The person offered a small bribe to pass inspection. The inspector took it and passed them. The person felt guilty and reported the inspector. Investigation revealed the inspector had been taking large bribes to pass dangerous buildings that violated codes. Several buildings were found to be unsafe. The inspector was arrested. The person who reported faced charges for bribery attempt, but received reduced punishment for exposing a corrupt inspector whose actions had endangered lives. Their attempted bribe had accidentally revealed systemic corruption. 40. A person illegally feeding wildlife accidentally lured an aggressive animal away from hikers. The person was illegally feeding bears in a national park. A bear followed them expecting food. The same bear had been approaching hikers nearby, potentially creating a dangerous situation. By following the illegal feeder away from the trail, the bear left the hikers alone. Rangers intervened and relocated the bear. The illegal feeder was cited and fined for feeding wildlife, but was also told their actions had coincidentally drawn a potentially dangerous bear away from other people. Their illegal feeding had accidentally prevented a bear encounter. 41. A person hacking their school's system to change grades accidentally discovered a data breach affecting student records. The student was illegally accessing systems to change their grades. They discovered that outside hackers had already breached the system and were stealing student information. The student reported the breach despite being guilty themselves. The breach was contained and security improved. The student faced academic discipline but was also acknowledged for discovering the external breach. Their illegal hacking had accidentally revealed a more serious security violation. 42. A person poaching on protected land accidentally discovered and reported poachers of endangered species. The person was illegally hunting on protected land. They encountered organized poachers hunting endangered animals with sophisticated equipment. Recognizing this was far more serious than their own violation, they reported it to rangers. The endangered species poachers were arrested. The person who reported faced minor poaching charges, but cooperated and helped protect endangered animals. Their small illegal hunting had accidentally led to stopping commercial endangered species poaching. 43. A person committing credit card fraud accidentally discovered their identity had also been stolen. The fraudster was using stolen credit cards. While using one, they discovered someone had stolen their own identity and opened accounts in their name. They reported the identity theft affecting them. Investigation uncovered an identity theft ring, affecting hundreds of victims, including the fraudster. The fraudster faced charges for their own fraud, but also became a victim whose report helped catch a larger operation. Their credit card fraud had accidentally exposed identity theft they were also a victim of. 44. A person dodging jury duty by faking illness accidentally discovered they actually had a serious medical condition. The person was faking illness to avoid jury duty. They went to a doctor to get a note. The doctor ran tests to verify their claimed symptoms and discovered an actual serious medical condition they didn't know they had. A heart problem that required immediate treatment. The early detection saved their life. They admitted they'd been faking to avoid jury duty, but the doctor had discovered real illness. They faced no consequences for jury duty avoidance because they were hospitalized for legitimate medical treatment. Their attempt to fake illness had accidentally led to diagnosing real illness that would have killed them if not caught early. 45. And finally, a person running from police after stealing a car accidentally crashed into a prison transport vehicle, freeing an innocent person wrongly convicted. The car thief was fleeing from police in a stolen vehicle at high speed. They lost control and crashed into a prison transport van that was transporting inmates between facilities. The crash forced the van to stop and damaged the secure compartment. One inmate who had been wrongly convicted and was being transported to a different prison managed to flee during the chaos. The inmate contacted their attorney who had been working on proving their innocence. The escape attracted media attention to their case. New evidence was presented and DNA testing proved they were innocent of the crime they had been convicted of. They were exonerated. The car thief was caught and faced serious charges for stealing the car, fleeing police, and causing the crash. However, the wrongly convicted person's family thanked the thief because the crash had indirectly led to new attention on the case that resulted in exoneration. Legal analysts noted the bizarre chain of events where a criminal's actions had accidentally helped free an innocent person. The car thief received no leniency in sentencing, but became part of a strange story where criminal stupidity had accidentally contributed to justice for someone wrongly imprisoned. Their high-speed crash into a prison transport had created the circumstances that led to an innocent person's freedom being restored. The prosecutor at the car thief's sentencing acknowledged the ironic outcome, but noted that criminal actions remain criminal regardless of accidental positive consequences. The wrongly convicted person who was freed spoke at the trial, asking for mercy for the thief whose accident had changed their life, though the judge still imposed serious penalties for the dangerous criminal behavior. Subscribe if you want to remember that accidentally doing something good while trying to do something bad doesn't make you a hero, that we probably shouldn't give awards to criminals just because their crimes coincidentally helped someone, and that the difference between a hero and an idiot sometimes comes down to pure luck and being in the right place at the wrong time while doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons that somehow works out right.